Good morning, everyone. On this late January morning, it's Archivist David Thomas again from Kresen Kernow at Resurrance with another session of David's Dazzling documents. One of the things that a lot of people come to Kresen Kernow to research is the history of their house or property. And there are, of course, the usual sources like the tithe maps and the ordnance survey maps and deeds and leases and many other sources that you can consult. But the item I've got for you today was prompted by my seeing it as an item that one of our researchers had out in the archive quite recently, and I thought I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about it. So here we go. On the table is a leather-bound volume entitled Book of Maps. So what does it contain? Let's have a look and see how much we can learn from it. And here is the title page. A book of maps containing the Barton of Arrallas and other lands in the parish of St Enoder. In fact, there are other parishes represented like St Erm and Laddock and Pernewirthal. But the calligrapher or the compiler of William Smith in March 1860, he's really gone to town because he has shown examples of every different type of writing in every line. It's beautifully drawn. And the lands were the property of Michael H. Williams, Esquire. So that's just the title, and then the index shows us which places are represented. If we turn on, here is Arrallas Mill Tenement, and the streams or the rivers are shown in blue, and each field is numbered. And there is a key on the right-hand page showing which, what they're called, what the tillage and the arable tillage is, the hedges and the wasteland, and the whole is beautifully totaled up. Now, if you're researching your property in the 19th century, there's quite often a common problem in that after the wonderful series of tithe maps in 1840, and then the first edition 25-inch scale ordnance survey maps of around 1880, there's quite often nothing showing the 40-odd years in between. But this book of maps sits beautifully in between the two dates. So, for example, if you wanted to know, was a particular property there in 1860, or was it between 1840 and 1880? You can get a clue to what's actually going on. And once again, William Smith has gone to town in his title with a lovely drawing and a framed section for the word Arrallas and the mill tenement. And then just turning on, a place called Resurrance, and you have, again, all the fields and the properties shown with the table on the right-hand side. Archives can also be got at by people, and there's a lovely example of scribblings all over some of the maps, which is a pity, but it shows the use and the later use of the actual document. Here's a place called Quarry, and you see he's done the title of Resurrance Estate, which bordered the quarry. Incredible bit of penmanship on top of the vellum paper. And just turning on a little further, here's Gunabarn, a lovely name, and that's next to the Quarry estate. And you've also got the neighbouring landowners, like Mr. Bassett's land is shown there next to the subject at large. Here's Mellingey, which is a stray because this is in Pernewirthal parish, same landowner, but it's included for the sake of reference in the book. The places that are lived in domestically are shown in red ink, and the black buildings are barns and outhouses, maybe on the farm, and the tenement. So it's clearly able to show what was lived in and what was not. Here's Trevillick or Trevillick, and then there's some later additions to the volume. This is Trengeal, and then some more property was added, and this was shown in a little tipped-in tracing within the album. But one of the most interesting maps is this one. This is Bedock, alias Bissick, in Laddock, beautifully drawn, but shamefully scribbled on by later owners of the book. But if you look at the detail of the handwriting in the key of the book, you've got Deer Park Break and Deer Park, so it shows what was those fields and property were used for at that time. Lower Trelassick in Laddock. Here's Higher Penscawn in St Enoder, and again beautifully drawn. And just turning on another place called Higher Trelassick in Laddock and Hendra. So if you're researching the history of your house, don't just stick to the usual sources, the tithe maps and the Ordnance Survey maps. Ask the archivist on duty or in an email, or inquire what other sources are there that might show your particular property, because you might be surprised about what we've got here at Kresen Kernow that will help you to understand further the history of your house and property. See you next month for a further session of DDD, as we like to call them. Thank you.